Hello everyone, JL Wasabi here. Today we are doing a quick video as Riot just dropped a mid-patch update yesterday. Not sure if this was to be expected, but I certainly thought that some of them needed some nerfs in the upcoming patch. First up would be the trade. So Animal Squad is the only one that is being affected this time round. So it says Animal Squad is just be too consistent since their arsenal of weapons is the most exciting part of the trade. The champions are performing fine in terms of balance in other comps. We are focusing on the less visible stats of armor MR and damage M that are providing a bit too much power with none of the power that their weapons have. So the Animal Squad MR, armor, and damage M are being reduced. Right. So the stat bonuses at 5 Animal Squad got reduced by about 16%, while 7 Animal Squad got reduced by about 20%. Honestly, this should not affect Animal Squad too much, as you're either playing 3 Animal Squads in comps such as Vanguard Marksman or Nitro Dynamo, or you're playing 7 Animal Squad where the higher cost units like Leona and Zaya are inherently strong with their traits like Vanguard and Marksman anyway, right? So in fact, I won a game yesterday after the patch update with Vertical Animal Squad, and I will be posting that gameplay soon, maybe tomorrow. It was not a close fight, so keep a lookout for it. I will also be making a video on the Animal Squad weapons soon, since it seems to be more important to this trade than I initially thought it would be. Next are the units. So it says here, Executioner Rengar is too difficult to take down once he gets fully online, especially with how quick this kitty is to dart into the backline. We are preemptively nerfing him a bit to make room for buffs onto other parts of the comp in 14.2 next week, like Graves and Bats. So Rengar's AD and the main slash AD of his skill is being reduced, right? So I think this is just bullshit because my Rengar, even at 3-star with 3 items, has never darted into the backline, and Rengar is not a difficult unit to take down at all. I think that they are just purely nerfing Rengar first, as they are giving buffs to Graves and Vex, since Golden Ox and Divinity Core are underperforming right now, so that this comp doesn't go out of hand like other backline access comps in the past. So far, I think this comp doesn't feel so strong like Ambush's last set, so I would say avoid Executioners for now, since some of the units are due for a buff. Unless, of course, the game gives it to you for free, then maybe you can still play it. Annie's damage is pretty reasonable even on the weaker side, but summoning a mid-back that autos for a ton provides a lot of peel, forcing foes to burn through Tibers before getting to the backline. So we have 2 goals here, buff at higher AP levels, so you should feel rewarded for building AP over spam casting. Second, to buff Annie's base ability damage. We will do it in 14.2. So you look here, mainly Tibers got nerfed a lot to his HP, AP to HP ratio, AD as well as his resistance, right? So I think it is very true because I've had so many fights where Tibers was the last unit standing and he just won me the fight by himself, right? I actually did some calculations on how different builds actually affect Tibers' HP, since Riot wants us to play AP Annie rather than spam cast Annie. So for the spam cast build right now, is a blue buff, Shojin, and Nashus, which gives 40 AP in total, on top of the base 100 AP that all units have. So this 140 AP gives Tibers with 100,160 HP for Tibers of a 2-star Annie right now. But after the mid-patch update, the Tibers will have 1,080 HP instead if you play this build. But if you play like an AP Annie build, which is a blue buff, or like a Jewel Gauntlet and Rabadon's Death Cap, that gives about 100 AP on top of the 100, which makes 200 AP. So before the mid-patch, this AP Annie will give a Tibers of 1,400 HP, while after the mid-patch update, it gives 1,500 HP. It may seem very little, but if you compare it with the spam cast Annie build, the mid-patch update has a difference of 28% in terms of Tibers' HP as compared to before, where it was only 17% difference. Considering all the HP reduction from like the lower resistance that Tibers have, we are a lot more incentivized to play AP Annie right now. Yeah. So, however, given that base damage did not get increased, I would say we should still avoid her for now until the next patch update where her damage get increased. Okay, I think it's very typical of Riot to just nerf this unit because the players found an optimal build to play when it's not the way that they want her to be played, basically. Next one is Kobuko. Kobuko is doing too many things with just 2 bruiser, 2 cyber boss. He's a Sejuani with triple the HP. They can do as much damage as a carry. He can't be allowed to do all these things, even if we love him also much. While we can't change the ability, it will always be a 2-hex AoE CC. We will shift his identity to more of an AP bruiser, damage dealer, and less of a tank. We start off with severely cutting his defense from both his base stats and his ability. So Kobuko's HP decreased, mana increased, armor decreased, and a lot of other things decreased. Right, basically to his tankiness. But I think how do you shift his identity into a damage dealer where everything has been nerfed, including the fact that his mana has been increased? So I think this is more targeted towards stopping him from casting too many times per fight, which can be game-changing because of his 2-hex AoE CC. So similarly for now, I think we should avoid using Kobuko until next patch, where I expect some updates to the damage of his ability in order to make him a damage dealer that they mentioned. Next one will be Samira. Samira is outputting too much AoE damage that can delete entire comps, and her durability is extremely high for someone relatively safe to do so. We are hitting her durability and invisible armor sunder that makes counterplay too difficult. So Samira AT got decreased, her durability got decreased, Omnibam decreased, as well as armor strap per bullet. I think that this nerf is not as bad as the rest, but it should mean that you should need to make her more survivable with things like Hand of Justice for Omnibam when she goes in to cast her skill. This also means that you have a less item slot for things like Last Whisper or Giant Slayer, so it may be harder to take down tanks using Samira, since her bullet strat, armor strat per bullet also got reduced. So this Samira change also affects Street Demon to some extent. So with all of the nerfs to any Kobuko and Samira, it just means one thing: stop playing the Fast 9 strategies MCOM. As I mentioned in my overall guide, you can still pivot into strategies of M late game because the units are quite strong and the traits are scaling in nature. However, right now you do not full open anymore and Fast 9 to this comp because the core units, any Kobuko and Samira, are nerfed and they won't stabilize you enough when you get to level 9. So with 1 or 2 lost fights, you might just go 8. However, you can still play Fast 9 comps into things like strategy Street Demons. Even though it's slightly weaker now, it can still be played. And then you can still pivot into this strategist MCOM thereafter if you get the correct units and you have good enough items for it. Also for Kobuko, maybe you do not want to use him as a tank right now. Maybe you want to use other units like Garen or Zed instead. Last but not least, we have the Augment. So when played optimally, 10,000 IQ provides far too much value even for the risk. By moving it to stage 3, you lose the free stage 2 lose streak, and it comes online far later. If it ends up too weak, we will add some additional spending to make up for it. But for now, we expect players to need more IQ to maximize this augment. 10,000 IQ is now only available on 3.2. Basically, this ties in with the strategies MCOM as it encourages full open into lost streak on stage 2 and 3 to gain huge gold and item advantage. So given the change, there's no point in taking this augment anymore since it is very hard to judge whether you can safely win stage 3 onwards. And on the other hand, you do not want to lose streak stage 3 and 4 because it is too risky and you will probably lose all your HP by then. So it's a very difficult augment to play right now. So I would think that anyone with 10,000 IQ will not be picking this augment anytime soon. Yeah. So I hope that you have learned something from this video. If you find this video useful, I greatly appreciate if you can help to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more gameplay and guides. Thank you. See you again. Bye-bye.